I'm Robert Kelly-Goss. From the Arts of the Albemarle's McGuire Theater in downtown Elizabeth City, this is Swampland. Stephen March, his third published book, his second full novel, Armadillo was...
fourth published book.
Fourth published book.
Yeah.
That's right, it's a collection of short stories.
Right.
And Armadillo was a novella.
Right.
And this is Strangers in the Lands of Egypt. And this is a great book about a young man living in a southern city who goes through self-discovery, if you will, through a series of very traumatic events, as well as his own undoing, I guess you could say. But at any rate, Stephen's here to talk about his novel and his work. Welcome. How are you?
Fine.
Good, good. So tell us a little bit about this book.
My mother was in Germany after the war.
Right.
And she was over there right after not too long after the information about the Jews came out in the concentration camps. And I grew up hearing these really powerful, mesmerizing, and tragic stories about what happened to those people. And I think that probably that in itself was sort of the seed for this book, because I was fascinated by how somebody who lived through that, what their perspective on life would be.
And so people understand one of the main characters is a Holocaust survivor.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And that was the challenge of the book. But the other part of it was having some kind of dramatic structure, so that the central character is a character who has a great deal of unresolved rage. Right. And he also has absolutely no religious faith.
And that's Jesse Terrell, the teenager.
Right.
Right.
He's cynical, and he's bereft of faith. And I think that was the sort of the heart of the story, was the irony of this old man who's suffered so much and would have so much reason not to believe, but yet he's able to go back to his rude experiences in Poland with the Yiddish culture and the way he was given such a faith in God that it sustained him through this horror, and somehow he held on to it. And he really becomes the character of faith, which is the irony, because he suffered so much and has reason not to have faith. And that sort of struggle, or that little dance between the two, the dramatic tension between Jesse's absence of faith and Mr. Evans' desire to say, believe, you got to believe,
right?
You got to have some sense of beyond. Oh, it's beyond.
So yeah, and so people understand just a little bit of background with the book. And so Jesse was caught. He was one of three, I think I remember.
Yeah, four guys.
Yeah. They were vandalizing a synagogue, a Jewish synagogue, house of worship.
Right.
He was the only one caught.
Right.
And he got off lucky. He was sentenced to community service. Right. And Mr. Even was a man in a wheelchair, this Jewish man, and their relationship grows through the story. It's the backbone of the story.
I think so. There's a lot of a subplot, and that was one of the fun things about this challenge of the book. It was also the other books I'd written, there were sort of less balls in the air. Mm-hmm. But I had a lot of multiple storylines at once. There's a relationship with LaFay. There's his passionate desire to find the man who left his father brain damaged and kill him.
Right.
And this is a young man who's already taken on the sort of the spiritual weight of wanting to commit murder.
Right.
And whether he will or not is sort of the part of the suspense of the novel.
Well, the mastery here is, you bring all those subplots together.
Well, that was the hard part.
But they do. It all fits real well, because I guess it's easy to say, or it should be said rather, that our lives as individuals have a lot of subplots.
Yeah.
And in some sense, they all do come together at varying points in our lives to sort of come to a conclusion one way or another. And I feel like you did that. And I think, I told you before, the character, Jesse Terrell, I knew him.
That's good.
He was, I put a face to him because he was my friend, somebody I knew real well at one time, and I could identify with so much. And then, and the environment that you set up, it was a generic southern city, but anybody that's lived in the South any length of time, especially in an urban area, it was their city, and there was nothing really specific that drew that except for the culture that I think you built up around it. And it was really, really well done.
Well, I appreciate that.
This book is available here locally at Page After Page and other venues. And the thing about Strangers in the Land of Egypt and other works of literature of this nature is that it is accessible. So, we invite people to read Stephen March's book. It is. I have read it. It's great. My wife, who's an avid reader, loves it. And I wish you the best of luck. Are you working on another novel right now?
Always.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Until next time, which next time, by the way, means the Bluegrass Band, Out in the Cold. They're going to be here, hopefully play some music, and they're going to talk about their upcoming benefit concert. So that'll be next week. Thank you very much.